If you're like me and see an anime thumbnail, you click it. You probably discovered lots of lo-fi music this way. I know I did. There's this movie on Netflix called Adam by Eve. Because of the anime thumbnail and the experimental nature of the description, I was interested. However, I had no idea it would introduce me to Eve, the most consistently solid J-rock pop artist out there, or one of the more intriguing experimental musical live-action experiences in film. Eve is a J-rock J-pop artist who has never shown his face, preferring to keep the art in the forefront over any idle tendencies of his own looks. Because it's about the art, not the person making the art. Eve has a prolific body of work and all of it is solid. I could recommend all of his albums, honestly, but Kakai, Katan, and Bunka are the ones that I can think of. Mostly guitar-driven, with riffs that seemingly strike the inner teenage girl that lives within me. It's a vibe that brings me peace and happiness, but this dude has things to say too. Despite the jovial tone of J-pop, his lyrics are quite melancholic, often about youth trauma, feeling lost, depressed, and filled with anxiety while trying to live in the modern world. But the way he says it, or is translated, is so beautiful.
誰でもいいや誰でもいいから誰かいないか声ではないが睨む線がスタスタあると思えた
It's the right amount of flowery language mixed with an in-your-face, rapidly spoken, yo, this is how I'm feeling, so what? Like dramaturgy.
僕ら今さっさクライアンで延長線サレンダーしてメイデーは言い合いそう垂れ流すこともあるぞドラマチックな展開をどっか期待してんだろ
I am far from this guy's audience, but his lyrics really resonate with me.
You said blush 才能ないのねとないよシスターズ神戸を垂れることしかないの愛なるかないそれはどうしようもないならさ
I would normally dive into more specific songs here, but honestly, just go to his YouTube, hit play, and let it ride. It's all good, all consistent.
漂うこの空気にストップただ矛盾を抱いている今更もうスピードでスタート切ったってどうやったってお付けしないぜメイデー強がりに焼け
No, this video is about his movie. Adam by Eve is inspired by the biblical Adam and Eve, but the apple represents commercialism and modernity of the youth. Otherwise, the metaphor is hardly there. But the 1-hour film is a unique mix of an anime live-action musical fever dream that doesn't currently exist. Upon first viewing, it seems like a series of Eve's music videos with random live-action moments in between about a friend looking for a friend. But the experimental nature lends itself to the symbolism of what's happening. I'm also not Japanese, so the majority of the cultural criticism Eve seems to be making will be lost on me, but I can at least recognize that it's there, because that is what the film ultimately is. A fever dream musical explosion of beauty and melancholy about how commercialism is causing trauma to modern youth of Japan, specifically young girls. Aki and Taki are best friends who, like most troubled teens, don't seem to belong anywhere. Taki explains to Aki her strange nightmares about a one-eyed monster named Hitosumi, a recurring character in Eve's music videos, and then seemingly disappears. Aki spends the rest of the film wandering to their old spots, remembering intimate moments.
僕ら今さっさ輪になって回り始めるだんだん嫌になってでも好きになる
And getting lost in the city as Taki's nightmare begins to seep into Aki's reality, and she too begins to see Taki's intense nightmare. Soon, reality and dream become tangled, and Aki passes out. It's here she experiences a full-on anime music video from a new song of Eve's. This tangential anime sequence is the core of the film, the absolute meaning and intent displayed. It's a world where Hitosumi becomes obvious what it represents: commercialism, patriarchy, authoritarianism. In short, control. Control of what? culture. The entire city is controlled by Hitosume, and we focus on a young girl who wears a piece of paper with a smiling anime girl on it. Despite her sadness underneath, the Hitosume don't want to see it. They want girls to be happy and pretty and anime. Even though the girl just wants to play this video game, it's frowned upon. Girls exist to be cute and fun, and for adults are gays. It becomes a repetitive cycle of living the same day every day and expecting to keep up the smile despite deep inside wanting to cry. When the young girl tries to break out of the cycle, the Hitosume converge and chain her up. That's when she's rescued and a full-on anime revenge battle takes place. It's the film's most ambitious sequence and the most AAA anime the film gets. As it's indie the whole time up till here, the girl gets revenge on modern life. In the very end, the Hitosume break the chains and gives up. You have to watch the rest of the film for the ending. Adam by Eve is a visually beautiful, highly engaging, eye-popping, and impressive mix of live action and anime. But unlike other films like Space Jam or Roger Rabbit, Adam by Eve uses the animation to interject reality with dream. Tonally and spiritually, it reminds me of Mirror Mask by Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean. The two films don't relate at all, but the imagination of both films is unique, creative, and sets it apart. The way reality and fantasy blend in Mirror Mask, and the way reality and dream blend in Adam by Eve. The film uses the music of Eve and his relatable, melancholic lyrics to express the themes, and wraps it up with heavy fever dream symbolism. But despite this, the film is rather unfocused at times, but I don't care. I friggin' love it. I've always wanted a movie like this, with a really banging J-Rock soundtrack. It appeals to all of my senses, and there were times I was watching this movie with a big old smile on my face, vibing with the music, and being just so happy in a way only J-Rock can seemingly do to me. Adam by Eve feels like a culmination of Eve's work for the past decade, but of course, the man is still making music, and it's still as solid and as meaningful as it's always been. I hope he decides to make more feature-length versions of his art though, because it greatly speaks to me, and maybe it will speak to you as well. Thank you.